Happy Friday evening, everyone. It's 21 News Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm here. It is the video we call Weather for Weather Geeks. It's the most in-depth weather forecast video you're going to find for our area anywhere on the internet. I wanted to start out this evening talking about some climatological averages here in meteorological summer. That's what we consider to be the months of June, July, and August. Meteorological summer, the three warmest months of the year. Here in our area, our average high peaks at 82 for couple of weeks or so in the month of July, and then those averages start falling ever so slowly. We're down to 80 now that we've hit the middle of August. By the end of August, our average high will fall to 78. But we were warmer than average yet again today. We did not hit 90 like we did yesterday, but still pretty toasty. 88 this afternoon after starting at 69 degrees this morning. The records are 95 and a crisp 45 on today's date. I ran the numbers for the summer season, and while summer is of course not over yet, where we stand right now is, if summer were to end today, it would be the warmest summer season since 1995 for our area. We've reeled off now 5 consecutive pretty hot summers in a row, and this summer is even running ahead of 2018 and the hot summer of 2016 as well. Last year, of course, was way above the average. Since 2010, we've only had one legit cool summer, and that was the summer of 2014. That was sandwiched in between a couple of pretty average summers in 2013 and 2015. Now, summer's not going to end today, and the longer range is not looking all that hot for the second half of August, so these numbers are probably going to change. We may end up being almost on par with 2018 and 2016 by the end of August, but as it stands right now, it would be our hottest summer since 1995. Cool time lapse today. Nice sunrise over Youngstown this morning, and interesting to watch those high-level cirrus clouds going from west to east, and then the cumulus deck pops up and is moving towards the camera from east to west. Different clouds at different levels of the atmosphere, moving in different directions today. That low-level easterly wind today did bring in somewhat drier air, especially this afternoon. The dew points mixed down pretty nicely. Instead of upper 60s like we had this morning, dew points have been mostly in the upper 50s this evening, even a few mid-50s in some spots. Boy, Ohio kind of cut in half early this evening. Eastern half of the state doing just fine. Western half of the state, not so much. Some slow-moving thunderstorms impacting parts of southern Ohio, northwest Ohio as well, where there's been a ton of rain in a short amount of time here. Near the Ohio-Michigan border, 3 inches plus worth of rain occurring just in the last handful of hours, so no surprise flood advisories are out for that part of the Buckeye State. Nationally, the big story is the heat out west. Now, of course, it's August. It's going to be hot in Dallas and in Phoenix, but even by the standards of some of these locations, this is pretty hot stuff. San Francisco, for example, 98 degrees. The city by the bay does not usually get into the upper 90s, thanks to the marine layer, but no surprise, excessive heat warnings are out for much of California and out towards Vegas and out towards Phoenix and Dallas and west of Dallas under that excessive heat warning as well. All right, back here at home, our forecast has been a challenge for the upcoming weekend. As is often the case at this time of the day, the GFS ensemble model, that's the blue line, is going kind of crazy here. We're going to ignore that. If you've been watching Weather Geeks over the last couple of days, and even my television forecasts, the models a couple of days ago really started to trend towards an idea that we may be in for a pretty good drink of water this weekend. There was one exception to that. The European model stuck to its guns and said we were hardly going to get any rain this weekend. Then, starting last evening, the models went the other direction and started drying out and trending towards the European model again. And the result is our forecast is for low chances of rain this weekend, but it's not going to be a whole lot. I did get a question, I think, on Facebook about the computer models. What are they? What's the deal with those? I'll do a longer explanation on some future video, but kind of the bottom line is meteorologists rely on a multitude of computer models. A lot of these are run here in the U.S. by the National Weather Service. Each computer model has some strengths, has some weaknesses. The data that's fed into the model comes from a lot of different sources. There are sensors on airplanes now, for example, that sample the atmosphere way above our heads. Weather balloons are launched twice a day in locations all over the country, and the data that we get from those weather balloons are fed into the models, and then the models calculate what's going to happen in the future as far as the weather goes across not only the U.S., but across much of the world. I mentioned a lot of these are run in the U.S. The European model is a model you hear us talk about a lot. It's, of course, run by the European Center for Medium Range Forecasting over in Great Britain. And generally speaking, the European model has a better track record for accuracy than a lot of its American counterparts, but that's not always the case. Sometimes the American counterparts do win the battle. No model is perfect. Some models are useful, and meteorologists use those models to help make the forecast, but just like a hammer is not going to build your house for you, a human has to use that hammer to build the house. A weather forecast is not created by the models. A human takes those models, does with those models what we do from, or the knowledge we've gained from experience and the knowledge of what those models have as far as strengths and weaknesses, and then we build a forecast from there. The models themselves are not a forecast, quote unquote. All right, enough model talk. Let's go into the weekend forecast. Here is one of our models. This is sometimes you hear me refer to this as the in-house model. It's kind of the proprietary model for our weather graphics system here. But we can display a lot of different models. This is just one. And it would suggest, as it has been the trend, that a lot of this rain is going to stay off to our south and east over the start of the weekend. Cold front comes in on Sunday. Maybe there's a shower or storm in the afternoon, but it's pretty small coverage. And then we have added a small risk of a shower or storm back into Monday's forecast with a weak weather disturbance pushing in. Now, the Storm Prediction Center, part of the National Weather Service, does have our area highlighted in a low-end risk for severe weather Sunday. I think this is a very, very low risk. I'm not real impressed with the severe weather chances here on Sunday. Would not be surprised, actually, if they removed us from that low-end risk on Sunday and reserved it more for central and western Ohio. I just am not impressed around here. Now, again, ignore the blue line. When you look at the next week, not a lot of rain's coming our way over the weekend and through the upcoming work week. Probably under a half an inch, probably even under a quarter of an inch in a lot of the area, I think, for the next 7 days. So it's crispy yard season if you're not sprinkling, or running your sprinklers, I should say. Your yard probably is getting a little bit brown, and that trend will probably continue here in mid-August. All right, thanks for watching this Friday evening edition of the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you back here for more geeky weather and science stuff on Monday.